Yo YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy SalvationsElite. We're finally back with another video, guys. It's been about a week since we posted, but I'm excited to be back. Obviously the week hiatus was because I was at New Orleans. I was at CWL New Orleans doing the reffing there with MLG, and so it's good to be back, and I'm excited to finally be posting again. And before we really get into it, I just want to let you guys know that I was planning on doing the CWL Dallas recap video today, but because of all this news, I wanted to do this today. And so the recap video will be coming out either tomorrow or Friday, so be on the lookout for that. So as you guys can see from the title, as you guys have seen on Twitter, if you guys seen around all over the place, this Censor news has been all over, and everyone's talking about Censor versus E6 and what's going on. I just wanted to have a conversation about what's going on with that whole situation and what the COD community can do to avoid a situation like this in the future. So really, I just want to start off by saying I legitimately have the utmost respect for MLG and everything they do, and for the system that they've put in place for Call of Duty and how they run events and how they manage some of these extremely difficult situations. Everybody who works at MLG is extremely passionate to put on the best events possible to make the league as enjoyable and as fun to watch and as fun to participate in as possible, and they want to make it possible for amateurs to still go pro and make that transition as simple as possible. And that's really why the current system is in place. The whole issue is that E6 did not get into the LAN League and Evil Geniuses did, and the LAN League is the $700,000 2-month-long basically LAN tournament that goes on in Columbus. It's the top 10 American teams and then 6 European and Australian teams. It allows you to play a lot of competitive Call of Duty at an elite level. It gives you an opportunity to win a lot of money, and it gives you an opportunity to earn a lot of pro points. And so it's extremely important for these teams to eventually get into the LAN League. So everyone's freaking out that the system is broken and that like everything needs to be completely changed, which I think is total BS. I don't think the system is that bad at all. I do agree that it probably sucks for pro players to have to play that many pro point matches per day, and when they have so many other things to deal with as a pro player, it's extremely annoying to have to play, 2 hours worth of GBs in a day against these rando kids that nobody really wants to play. But at the same time, the plus of that is that it allows for players to grind these pro points and allows them for a chance to get good seedings in open brackets and get good seedings in 2Ks that they would have otherwise have no chance to earn unless they play some sort of tournaments or something like that. So I just want to highlight how extremely unfortunate it is that this is the situation that it ended up being like. We could potentially play Call of Duty for a long time and never have a situation where it comes down to this few amount of pro points determining who gets into the LAN League and who doesn't. It's legitimately absolutely crazy. So to put this all into perspective, TK, who's currently in first place in pro point standings, has a combined 238,925 pro points. Since they won the first 2 events, they have an absolutely incredible amount of pro points. So they have over 100,000 more points than the next closest team, which is Luminosity. So the difference between the number 1 American team and the number 10 American team is crazy. Like I said, TK has 238,000 pro points, and the number 10 team, which is Evil Geniuses, has 61,190 pro points. I will admit that there is room for ties and issues like that because of how double elimination works and because of how tournaments work. There's a lot of ties, so potentially if a team tied at the first 2 events and then they didn't perform very well in the 2Ks, that's how you end up with these type of ties. So eventually, after all of these 2Ks, after playing all of these GBs, after playing in 2 open tournaments, the difference between E6 and Evil Geniuses getting into the Pro League was 45 points. So that's just absolutely crazy that that few amount of pro points can be the difference between the 10th and 11th seed and the teams that are actually getting in and not getting into the Pro League. That's absolutely ridiculous. After all this intro, after all this explaining, let's get into what Censor had to say about the issues that he took up with the LAN League and MLG. So if you guys haven't watched Censor's video yet, I'm going to recap you as quick as possible. He explains most of the controversy in his video, so I'd recommend watching it, but I'll explain it in just a few minutes. He explained it in about 20 minutes, so I'll save you some time here. So MLG had reason to believe that Censor's team was cheating with their pro point matches, as in they were getting free wins. Basically, they would schedule the same opponents. So what they were doing is they were having teams just quit against them or forfeit their matches, and so they were getting free pro points without actually having to play them. So they could do all their matches without actually having to do their matches. They had good reason to believe that, and they ended up taking away 245 of Censor's pro points, just Censor's. So you earn 5 pro points per match that you can play. You can play 5 matches per day for pro points, and you get a 10-point bonus for your first win of the day. So a team can earn 140 pro points as a team or 35 individually in one day. MLG took away 1 week worth of GB pro points from Censor. So again, why there was so much drama at the event with these 2 guys, E6 assumed if they placed top 16 they'd be fine qualifying, but eventually Doom and Evil Geniuses placed pretty well, so they got nervous, and so it ended up coming down to EG. If they placed in the top 8, would have more pro points than E6. So basically, EG's match for top 8 on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. was the difference between whether or not they would get in. If they won that match, they would beat out Censor by 125 pro points. So they end up winning that match, but in the night, Censor's team played their GBs. They legitimately went to somebody's house and they played their GB matches all legitimately, and they earned the 140 pro points, which means that E6 would have gotten to the Pro League by 15 points. So in Censor's video, he did admit that he actually was getting free wins and he was really sorry about that, but he wanted to make sure the MLG understood that he believed and had a lot of pretty good proof that Evil Geniuses was also getting free wins throughout a significant amount of time, at least that week and that weekend. So basically that night, apparently after E6 finished their matches, so apparently somehow EG played 2 matches around 2:30 and 3 o'clock as well, and then they somehow played 3 more matches in the morning, like 5:45, 6 something, and 7 or something like that. So really the whole point of Censor's video was to prove that EG was also getting free wins and that they should get their points docked as well, which would effectively get E6 into the LAN League. The big controversy also, which I think was a little bit unethical, was that Censor recorded Nameless without him knowing and trying to get him to say something about them not actually playing the matches. And really what they're all just saying is that we deserved our spot, like we deserve to be in the LAN League, but they're not saying that we actually did play our pro points. And so now that we finally discussed everything and like talked about and explained the whole situation, I just want to let you guys know my thoughts about it. So I do want to kind of address what MLG should do. I don't want to talk for them because I'm not officially associated with MLG, but I've never been a part of any decision making, and I respect all of them so much there that I don't want to step on their toes with that. But like obviously in a perfect world, you eliminate all the cheating, and no team does this. No team gets the free wins. No teams do this, but obviously a lot of teams do this, and this happens all the time. That's what makes it such a difficult situation. What even makes it more difficult is I think from MLG's perspective, and I think all viewers' perspective, we all know that EG is probably a better team. I mean, they placed top 8 at New Orleans, and E6 didn't even win a match in their pool play, and they really didn't play well at all, and they finished top 16. I feel like in the majority of people's minds, people understand that EG is probably the more deserving team to be in the Pro League. But at the end of the day, when it comes to pro points and how the whole system is set up, by the system's definition, I do believe that Censor deserves to be in the Pro League, and at the end of the day, I think the best thing to do would be to take away EG's pro points that they earned on that Sunday and on that Wednesday when they were traveling, because obviously those were not truly played games by those players. And so at the end of the day, I think that's what should happen. It's a tough situation. It really does suck for MLG. It's bringing a bad light on them, and they don't deserve that at all because they put on fantastic events. They're all amazing people, and there's nobody more fun and more enjoyable to work for. And like I said, they put on fantastic events with a great league, and they've built this from the ground up, and which makes it so awesome. Obviously, the situation sucks with Censor and EG and everybody on E6 and EG and everything. It's just, oh gosh, it sucks. But nonetheless, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. Share the video if you guys really enjoy it, and comment down below. Let me know what you guys have to say about everything going on with EG and E6 and Censor and everything. But as always, guys, I'm your boy SalvationsElite, and we'll see you next time. I'm side here. They send one straight into U from B. They have one sitting back tank at B, and then one inside of statue ruins at B, and then they have one back rock, back cabin at. But TK on the other hand decides to rush mid, send